The World Economic Forum has officially kicked off in Davos, and the global elite, led by Klaus Schwab, are wasting no time making their agenda crystal clear. According to Schwab, the recent US election results are proof that America can no longer govern itself. His solution? Force the United States to bow to the authority of the globalist agenda through a series of covert and calculated attacks set to unfold in the coming year. In his deranged and chilling plenary speech, Schwab didn't mince his words. The World Economic Forum rules the world, and now it's time to bring the American people into compliance. Before we dive in, join the People's Voice Locals community if you haven't already, and sign up to become a member of the world's first ever cyber nation that truly believes in life, liberty, and the pursuit of your dreams. Visit joson.com and click the Join Us button today. It's completely free. While America has been celebrating the end of the disastrous Biden regime, we've kept our eyes locked on the globalists, watching their every move like a hawk. Insiders at the forum report that Klaus Schwab's behaviour has taken a disturbing turn. Described as increasingly erratic, he is said to resemble a paranoid and delusional figure, much like Adolf Hitler at the Munich Olympics. Constantly fidgeting, sweating and looking over his shoulder, Schwab appears to be unravelling under the pressure, as the cracks in the globalist agenda become impossible to ignore. The elites may be reeling from the rise of the Trump administration, but make no mistake, they are far from retreating. In fact, they're doubling down on their efforts to regain control, and the World Economic Forum in Davos is their war room. Schwab openly declares that the World Economic Forum controls the world, and he was clear, the US Constitution must be discarded, with America reduced to a vassal state under the globalist New World Order.
The future does not just unfold. The future is shaped by us, and particularly shaped by us here in this room.
The globalist elite are not interested in the will of the people. They are not interested in competition or meritocracy. What they are interested in is communism and authoritarianism. And that means power consolidation at the most central of all levels. Listen to Ursula von der Leyen complain that the New World Order has not turned into reality, while complaining that competition is alive and thriving today.
The cooperative world order we imagined 25 years ago has not turned into reality. Instead, we have entered a new era of harsh geostrategic competition. The world's major economies are vying for access to raw materials, new technologies, and global trade routes. From AI to clean tech, from quantum to space, from the Arctic to the South China Sea, the race is on. As this competition intensifies, we will likely continue to see frequent use of economic tools, such as sanctions, export controls, and tariffs, that are intended to safeguard economic and national security. But it is important that we balance the imperative to safeguard our security against our opportunity to innovate and enhance our prosperity. In this spirit, we will need to work together to avoid a global race to the bottom, because it is in no one's interest to break the bonds of the global economy. Rather, we need to modernize the rules to sustain our ability to produce mutual gain for our citizens.
Make no mistake, the tide has turned, and we are living in an historical moment, and the establishment elite are terrified of the people. WF globalists are lining up to admit that they are in a dire predicament, while warning that a new plan must be hatched immediately to regain control and bring the US to heel.
Trump has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician, has risen. Somebody who, if we were 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, dead politically, known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
We need to also factor in not only who's won, which is Trump, but who's lost, which is to say us. And I guess I would throw into that the epitome of the us who is losing here is Europe, that the European Union and by and large its member states have misread the direction where events were going. The causes that it is interested in, climate, human rights, some others, as well as the methods of diplomacy that it prefers, are simply being gradually kind of marginalized as something new, not necessarily something better, but something new moves into the center.
What do the elite have up their sleeve? According to insiders, they believe they have the technology to unleash a series of devastating pandemics, thanks to the work of evil doctors including Dr. Anthony Fauci and his teams of Chinese gain-of-function specialists working with the US taxpayer dollars in biolabs across the world. Klaus Schwab has unveiled his top 5 risks facing the world in 2025. And for anyone familiar with his career, it's hard to miss the striking resemblance to the WEF's own not-so-hidden agenda.
Our annual risk report 2025 identifies the foremost risks, such as armed conflicts, extreme weather events, misinformation and disinformation, increasing divisions within societies, within countries, cyber espionage, and many more.
Schwab's vision of the future doesn't end there. With chilling precision, he's using behind-closed-door meetings to lay out plans for artificial intelligence to monitor populations, clamp down on resistance, and ensure the WEF's policies are enforced without question. As these unsettling plans unfold, it's clear the global elite have no intention of stopping. The pandemics, the vaccines, the sweeping loss of freedom in recent years, these aren't accidents. They're part of a calculated effort to reshape humanity into a more obedient, manageable population. The only question left is whether people will continue to understand the severity of the threat coming from the globalists. The elites thought they could scheme behind the closed doors of Davos, plotting their future without us. But they were wrong. We're watching, and we have eyes and ears everywhere, even inside the forum itself. The people are rising up, not just from the outside, but from within their very own ranks. A whistleblower, someone who has seen the darkness firsthand, has come forward and revealed the truth about Klaus Schwab and his sinister agenda. The global elite are desperate to keep this hidden, but the truth is like a flood. It cannot be stopped. The globalists are trying to make us all poorer and destroy what's left of the economy. The Biden regime is following all of the WEF diktats to the letter. They literally want you to own nothing and pretend to be happy. It's no joke. That's why I recently decided to put a lot of my own savings into precious metals, gold and silver. I don't trust the banks, I don't trust governments, and I don't trust big tech with my hard-earned money. Why? Because the handful of people that I do trust to give me financial advice, Max Kaiser for instance, have all said that gold is the best insurance against inflation and the stock market. So I decided to partner up with our sponsor, Colonial Metals Group. They helped me set up a self-directed IRA, where I have access to all of my assets, no matter what restrictions the government impose on everybody else. Let the team of experts at CMG help you protect your family's future. And viewers of this channel are being given an exclusive offer. Click the link below this video or call the 800 number and you'll receive a safe and up to $7,500 in free silver. This offer is exclusive to viewers of The People's Voice. The number to call is 888-351-2043. That's 888-351-2043. Or go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/TPV. The global elite are in full panic mode after the US election results. And Klaus Schwab, along with his WEF cronies, have made their stance clear. Freedom in America is a threat to their agenda. According to their plan, a series of orchestrated global crises must bring America and the free world to its knees. And all future elections must be carefully controlled shams, mere illusions of choice designed to keep the people in check while the globalists tighten their grip on power. Notorious WEF agenda contributor Adam Grant, who also serves as Bill Gates' senior advisor, let the cat out of the bag, insisting that eliminating elections altogether will ensure the US government and agencies have more integrity. In an article for the New York Times, Grant admits that the globalist elite are losing the propaganda war and suggests that the public can't be trusted to vote. Accordingly, Grant argues that elections should be scrapped, and Americans should be ruled by the global elite for their own good. Per the article, officials have been working hard to safeguard elections and assure citizens of their integrity. But if we want public office to have integrity, we might be better off eliminating elections altogether. If you think that sounds anti-democratic, think again. The ancient Greeks invented democracy. And in Athens, many government officials were selected through sortition, a random lottery from a pool of candidates. In the United States, we already use a version of a lottery to select jurors. What if we did the same with mayors, governors, legislators, justices, and even presidents? To replace the current election system, the WF is advocating for randomly selecting officials from a pool of candidates. But there's a catch. The pool of candidates will be selected by what Grant calls guardians of the democracy, which the fine print admits are the globalist elite in Davos. Let's face it, the elite are now running scared and are desperate to silence outraged voices of the people who are demanding justice for their crimes against humanity. As the global elite convened behind the towering walls of the Davos Forum, one member, who was asked to remain anonymous for their safety, shared a disturbing account of a closed-door speech given by Klaus Schwab to the select few at the summit. It was a rare, unfiltered moment that revealed just how shaken and desperate the globalist elite have become after the recent US election results. Schwab, according to this insider, began his speech with barely concealed rage. He paced the room with visible agitation, his voice rising with every insane sentence.
I gotta tell you what I heard behind those closed doors in Davos, man. It was chilling. Schwab, he wasn't the man I've seen before. He was fuming. When he got up to speak, the room went dead silent. You could feel the tension. I mean, you've heard the usual stuff, right? Climate change, globalism, blah, blah, blah. But this time, it was different. Schwab was angry, real angry. He started by railing against the US election results like they had personally wronged him. He says, the American people are too unpredictable, too dangerous. They cannot govern themselves anymore. He wasn't just mad about the election. It was like it broke him. He said, the US is an outdated experiment, and if we let them keep going, they'll drag the whole world down with them. His voice was shaking. But then he gets all fired up. He starts talking about how we, the global elite, must act now, and we must do it fast. He's pacing around, all jittery, and he says, we can't afford gradualism anymore. We have to unleash chaos in 2025. We need to break down global economies, create political unrest, and have the people begging for a solution. He's talking about taking control of the narrative, no more pretending. He said, the American people need to be made to grovel. We've given them too much freedom. Now we make them obey. I'm telling you, it was like he thought they were some kind of untamable beast that had to be broken. He's so convinced that they need to restore globalist supremacy, as he put it, and that's exactly what he's going for. Total control. And here's the real kicker. Schwab went on about how 2025 will be the year they set everything in motion. Chaos will reign, and that's when they'll step in like saviors. He didn't say it in so many words, but the plan was clear. They'll start a global crisis, and people will have no choice but to submit. It'll be like a new world order, but it's going to come at a price. The destruction of everything we've known. After he said that, it was like the whole room got heavy. He was shaking, his hands twitching, like he wasn't just speaking. He was delirious, like he could see the world crumbling around him, and he was trying to force it into shape. He's obsessed with this vision, man. He talked about how they need to fast-track the New World Order, how this was the only way forward. I've been in this game long enough to know when someone's lost it. And Schwab, he's there. He's in full-on panic mode. But the thing is, he's serious. These people are serious, and they're ready to burn everything down to make sure they're the ones left standing. And it's not just them. They've got the power to do it. But we can't let them. We can't let them tear everything apart, man. I'm just telling you. 2025 is when they'll make their move. They've already started laying the groundwork. And if we don't wake up now, we'll be in the middle of their chaos with no way out.
These plans are nothing short of evil. crafted with the sole intention of destroying the very foundations of the US Republic. And the disturbing truth? They have a vast network of nameless and faceless supporters right here in America, working in the shadows to make these plans a reality.
There's a provision in the CIA charter that says that the CIA cannot propagandize the American people. President Obama adopted in 2016 that essentially reopened the door for Operation Mockingbird so that the CIA began once again to propagandize American people.
How are they doing that, President?
High-level intelligence officials or people associated with the intelligence industry are running those journals, like Noah Schlachman, who runs Rolling Stone, who came from Daily Beast. Daily Beast was run by John Avallone, who has deep ties to the intelligence agencies. But even journals like Smithsonian and National Geographic, Nature, the Washington Post, the New York Times appear to be compromised by the CIA. We know from the Twitter files that both the FBI and CIA were operating portals within the Twitter and Facebook that allowed them to manipulate information and to deplatform people and to silence certain people that they didn't like in the social media. Operation Mockingbird was an operation to compromise American journalists. There were some 400 editors, journalists from all the largest publications. The New York Times had been compromised. The Washington Post was basically...
What do you mean by compromised for people who...
Well, they were functioning, the high-level people at those journals were working for the agency or had, signed secrecy agreements with the CIA. And at CBS, ABC, NBC, after '75, when it all came out, during the Church Committee hearings, the CIA promised that it would no longer compromise American journalists. It continued the program to compromise journalists all over the world, and today the CIA is the biggest funder of journalism in the world.
And how about present day?
They fund it through USAID. In that little twilight zone before you fall asleep every night, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do in the first weeks when I get into office about fixing these agencies, one at a time. That's something I'm excited about.
Here at The People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the crimes of the elite, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel, spread this video far and wide, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our awesome community and support the channel. I hope to see you there. Today's video is brought to you by IPv6ers. Are you a content creator who wants to publish information online without Big Brother spying and censoring your every move? IPv6ers is set to revolutionize the way information is disseminated on the internet by eliminating the need for big tech companies to provide unreliable, overpriced services such as self-hosting, email, and data management. IPv6ers enables an easy and accessible way for you to host your own web and email server with direct end-to-end connections and enhanced security. This means no snooping from Big Brother and no interference from the technocratic elite. If Hillary Clinton can get away with running her own server, why shouldn't you? Go to thepeoplesvoice.tv/IPv6 to sign up, or click the link below this video to take back control of the internet and win the info wars against the globalists. If you like our content, help support our sponsor IPv6ers and go to thepeoplesvoice.tv/IPv6 today. Thank you IPv6ers for making this video possible.